Hey,
Hi, happy Tuesday.
it's Tuesday again.
It is Tuesday. Is it Taco Tuesday for you, Yvette?
I think that's a good idea. I haven't had dinner yet, so yeah, let let's do it.
Let today be Taco Tuesday. And I hope you all out there are enjoying a Taco Tuesday or whatever kind of Tuesday you're having.
It is hot as hell here. How about
Is
there?
it? Oh, do you kind of feel like you're melting a little bit?
I have only left my apartment twice today to walk the dog, and it's like come right back to the air conditioning.
I'm sure that was long enough for both of you.
Yeah, she doesn't mind the heat as much as I do.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Well, in Minnesota here, it is not too bad. A little sticky, and I think we're still having the corn sweats, is what they're calling it.
oh my god, when I saw that, I was like, they must be just trying to screw with us now, right? Like there's now a weather phenomenon called corn sweats. Like
Corn sweats. Now, I always thought corn sweats was when you go to the Minnesota State Fair and you just hang out at the corn booth and then you get the corn sweats. Apparently, that is not it.
I actually read an article about this, which just goes to show how much of a dork I am, because I was so suspicious when I first, because I think I first saw the term on like TikTok, and I was like, this can't be real. And I actually read an article about this.
TikTok just recently got me, and TikTok, the bunnies on the trampoline. I got by the bunnies on the trampoline.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I'll look it up.
I would like to argue that it's very realistic looking. So if you all haven't seen the bunnies on the trampoline, as much as you want it to, it's not real. I'm so sorry.
I mean, AI video is getting serious, and it is very hard to know if what you're looking at is real or not. Yeah,
Indeed.
it's a little scary. Yeah,
It is. But you know what is unreal? This quilt behind me.
I was about to say, not AI generated.
This was real, sewn with my own two hands.
Yeah, you made it, right?
I did. I made this one at quilt camp. It was a blast. And
make you bigger so we can see the quilt more.
Oh, make me big? Okay. Oh, no, now you're seeing all the icky stuff on the side.
Oh, no, that's fine. Who doesn't like more quilts?
Exactly. More quilts is more better. But this is the one that we're focusing on, the one behind me. And the reason I love it so much is it's in the improv style, but I would call it improv light.
Right.
So all of these blocks here are made, and I'll give you a little spoiler alert, they're made by starting with a normal square or a rectangle, and then in the improv style, chopping off some of the corners, adding some background to get a rock effect.
Yeah, so it's just like a corner where you like sew the square and then you chop off the negative part.
It's kind of like a snowball, and I'll get into
like
some.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kind of like a snowball, but just a little bit more.
Yeah, so, like an improv snowball. Yeah,
an improv. Yeah, exactly. Like a wonky snowball or a melted one.
Yeah. So this quilt, what was it called again? River.
This one is called River Rocks. And so here is the pattern. It is written by a Canadian designer. The company is called Apples Beavers. And she's got a ton of wonderful, fabulous, very cute quilts. This one is one of my favorite, and I would argue maybe one of the most approachable. And I feel like this is reversed, isn't it?
That's okay. We can figure it out.
We can figure out what the River Rocks is. We'll figure out a way to flip that when producer Ken gets back. But I would say it's very approachable. And so if you have been looking at starting the improv style, or maybe a little intimidated by a true, like fully improv, figure it out yourself quilt, this is a really good one to start with for a couple of different reasons. One is it's really approachable. Whatever your rock looks like, it's just organic. Just remember that. There's no perfection needed here. But also, tell me if you love it when designers do this, but they give you little coloring pages. And we can...
It's kind of funny to have a coloring page on something that's improv, since the layout is going to be different for each person, right?
But I think that's part of the appeal in this particular one is because it would be really hard for any one person to just follow the cover. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, when I like to turn off my brain, that's how I like to do my quilts, is I'll just follow the cover. But with this one, every rock is going to look a little bit different depending on the person and depending on how much or how little you chop off. So the coloring pages really help you put it all together. And we'll get to in a little bit, but we've got 2 different fabrics to go along with this.
2 different kits? Is that what you said? That kind of logo.
2 different fabric kits.
Cool. I actually don't think I even noticed that. I'm going to pull that up right now. So I'm going to put the QR code up for the kit up on your screen. You can scan this QR code and that'll take you to the Gotham website, to the kit directly.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go snoop because I only saw the one color.
Yes. So this is the colorway in Grounded, and it's got these really kind of fun and funky prints along with these lovely colors. I think they're kind of luscious. So if you're looking at the fabric all together off the quilt, off the wall, this one's going to be your binding, so I'm going to put that one aside. But your rocks are all going to be sorted.
Oh, it's so pretty.
These colors here. And we went goo goo gaga over this fabric in the shop. And so the turning it into rocks was just kind of, idea number 1. It also has art gallery solids as the background. And this is in the very popular gray color River Rock. So all put together, this is going to be the grounded version. We also have, and this we have to thank one of our Tiny Apple customers to give us this idea. But she said, you know what that kind of looks like is sea glass. And so, of course, we had to make a sea glass version. When you're looking at these are going to be your rock colors.
That's really pretty.
And then the background is this lovely beachy grunge. So you get some texture in there too, along with your pile of sea glass. And you don't even have to go to the ocean or hunt for it.
This, like 100%. Just looking at this fabric bowl, Andrew would absolutely make that.
This is kind of her wheelhouse, huh? So while I'm very excited to show you these 2 lovely quilts, what I'm even more excited to show you about is how easy and fun it is to assemble.
Yeah, so when you showed me this, I had never heard of this pattern before, and then you showed it to me, and my initial thought was like, what even is that? Because I couldn't parse what was happening with it. And then I realized it was improv, and I realized that it was block-based improv. And the first thing I said was, oh, if you're scared of improv because it's just too open-ended and too vague, this is perfect because it's only one block.
Yep.
And you're just chopping it different ways to make a different shape. So it's like you're constrained in the improv. It won't be too wild. You won't be paralyzed,
Yes. If you want to use improv as an actual analogy, this might be more like Mad Libs, right? Where improv is yes and you go on and on. This might be more like Mad Libs where it says, give me an adjective.
Yeah.
And then you sew up an adjective and put it in there to stretch a metaphor, I guess.
Yeah, so when we did the improv retreat, we used Sherry Lynn Wood's book, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but she has this concept of a score. So you can't really have a pattern if you're doing full improv, right? But the same way that this is a pattern, but it's not exactly a pattern, right? Like not everyone's version will be the same. She calls that concept a score, as in like a musical score, because every person playing the thing is going to put their own interpretation. If it's music, they're going to put their own interpretation on it. So like if you record 2 different people playing the same song, it's not exactly the same song, right? So that's her concept. So this seems like a score to me, right? It's very approachable.
It is incredibly approachable, yes. So a couple of things to mention about this pattern is, one, it's really well written. So I believe her name is Astrid. It's on here. Astrid Bordosh from Apples and Beavers. really well written. So I would highly recommend reading through the pattern once through. And one thing I didn't mention is when you get the kit, the pattern is going to be included. But if you're interested in the pattern, or if maybe you've got your own ideas for what kind of fabric to pair with this, we've got the pattern just by itself on the Gotham website as well. So you can pick that up as well. And there you are. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Who's always ready, Yvette? It's you.
I'm pretty good at this part, like I ran this for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even a little bit surprised. So like any pattern, reading it the whole way through is really very helpful. But I'm just going to spend a little bit of time and talk about some tips that I picked up that maybe aren't in the pattern, or to point out things that are written in the pattern to help you on your River Rock journey. So what you'll start out with is, as written in the pattern instructions, she'll tell you cut X numbers of these size of squares or rectangles. So everything is going to start with either a square or a rectangle out of your fabric. And then you just go to town making your rocks. This is one thing that I didn't pay attention to, and I really wish I had the first time around. Start with your biggest rocks. They are by far the easiest to get improv with. So don't start with the little ones like I did. Start with the big ones. And I will take, actually, I've got two examples right here. So we're going to start with this square here. And the instructions will tell you, in any method you care to, chop off all four corners. And you just want your mat, your cutting mat, and a little ruler. Oops, there we go. A little ruler is helpful. Be sure to hold on to it. You don't want to drop this on anything.
Hit yourself in the face with it.
That's not great. That's not how this improv quilt should start. So you will line this up, line up your ruler, and then chop off your corners. Now, this is in the pattern. You want to make sure that you leave enough on your straight edges to cover your seam allowance. So I would say at least 1/2 inch, sometimes more is better. So especially on these big ones, you've got plenty of room to leave 1/2 inch for your seam allowance. Otherwise, you're ending up with a kind of a weird,
right. You get
like a 2 flat block.
Yeah.
Yep. So in this particular example, I took the same size block and chopped off, using whichever angles I cared to, 2 of my corners. And what that left me with are these 2 little pieces here. And I'll hold them up. So here's my corner that went here, and here is my corner that went here. You can use these pieces to help make the background piece on your little rock / snowball. So that's really the tips on the rock. I'll come to the background in just a second. Another thing that you can do when you get to the super, super small ones is, and I'll find one of these small ones here, probably like this. I think this might be pretty close to the smallest size rock that you'd have, but you can see there's not a whole ton of room here.
Yeah.
To chop off and keep your seam allowance. And so what you could do is take a piece of your background and sew it on just like you would your snowballs. So you'll sew on your corner first and then chop it off. So on the small ones, that's what I'd recommend to do. Now, finding your background for this one. There are, I would say, at least 2 different suggestions in the pattern for how you can cut and piece your background. For this one, in the kit, you're going to have plenty of background to do it whichever way you want. So you might end up with a little bit of waste. And in this one, I think it's okay. I know some people are very, they're sticklers. They're very frugal with their fabric. Yvette, are you a frugal fabric person?
No, definitely not. But I own a whole store of fabric, so...
That's a little different. Yeah. For this one, you want to just give yourself a little bit of room, because you'll waste so much less fabric if you do it right the first time and just cut off a little bit extra than if you cut it too small and then you have to cut another piece.
Yeah.
So give yourself some room on this one. Now, this is kind of a take on how she describes it in the pattern, so feel free to read through and use whatever method that works for you. But what I wanted to do was on the corner that I chopped off of that block there, I wanted to cut a background piece that was a little bit bigger than this because I needed my seam allowance, and then I wanted a little bit extra so that I could trim it down to the right size. I didn't want to be short on this one. So I measured it up and I took a strip of fabric that would cover my piece all the way around. And so that's why it's really helpful to do these blocks in size order. So you'll have roughly all the same, so you can cut a big strip and then cut from that. So from here, what I would do is just give myself probably 1/4 of an inch and cut it right there. So I had this nice big square of fabric to use. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll give that guy a little trim. And you are going to trim this again, so no need to get super exact with it. That's part of where the improv comes in. So you can see now I have, we'll put this behind it here, I have a piece of my background that is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then all you have to do is match that up to your quilt piece. So here's my rock, and I will flip this around so you can see I've got a little bit extra. Actually, let's do it this way. I've got a little bit extra on both of the sides, and then I don't have to get exact with my seam allowance. I can just trim that off later, and then just sew 1/4 inch from the edge. Then what'll happen is when I fold that back, if we just pretend that I sewed this, I'll fold this back, and now I get my little corner piece. Instead, it's the background fabric instead of the main rock.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, when you're all done with all 4 sides, you just trim it to the original size of what you started with, in this case, a square, and there you go, you've got a rock.
That's cool. I was thinking, I didn't expect that to be how you put it together. I wasn't expecting you to actually cut first. But since you do, I think this is a good pattern to, wow, the word went right out of my head. To starch. That's the word I was trying to come up with.
Oh.
I know you're a big starcher, but I usually don't starch. And like, if you're cutting a lot of bias cuts, they're going to try to fray on you if you mess with them a lot, right? So if you put starch on it, it won't spray as much.
Exactly. And just to give you an idea of how much I starched this fabric, we've got a fan going here. So if I move it to the side, but I'm sure you saw a second ago, it was standing right up on its own.
You use Best Press or something else?
In this case, I use Material Magic. It's my favorite starch. The one I used to love was the Faultless. You used to be able to get it at Walmart and come in the cans with the aerosol, and I'm sure it was not great for the environment.
Yeah.
Now you can't find that anymore. So Material Magic, I think, is fabulous, and generally dilute it 3 parts water to 1 part Material Magic, so it does stretch.
Cool.
So I will take my my cardboard-like fabric and put that aside. But yeah, so then you just go crazy making rocks.
I think it's a great idea, and I can see doing this in so many different colorways. The one you did back there is really nice because you have that charcoal background. And you said you made that sample yourself, right?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you still get to sew, right? Not always.
Every once in a while. Yeah. It's always going to be for the shop, though. Like, that's not really so much for fun. But yeah, so this one, the sea glass one, is the newest edition. And like I say, it was such a great idea. And that just goes to show you that it really is a community. Like, one idea begets another, and that's where creativity is made.
Yeah, we definitely used to do that, where people would come in and somebody had a take on something, and whether it was that exact thing or like that thing made us think of something else, and then it's like, oh, we got to go make that now. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So the rocks are really fun to make. One more piece of advice that I will give to you is, now, when you're all done, you're going to end up with 6 different size rocks in all different formations. Now, if you like quilty math, you can certainly go your own way and orient your rocks in whatever way you want. You can see here that some you're going to have 2 per row. Some you're just going to have 1. You can twist them or turn them however way you want.
Yeah.
Yep. So like, let's see if I can find one that is, it might be 2. Oh no, way down at the bottom here. So here's one. This same size rock is on its side, and here it is up and down. So you can orient those however you need to. If you are not in the mood for quilty math, or like this amazing game of Tetris, putting rocks together, there are some layout options in the pattern. And so what you can do is take rocks that are the same height or the same size and put them all together. Your columns here are all going to be the same width no matter what. And so you're just going to use some background to pad it to get to whatever width you want. It's the height that you need to play the Tetris game with and get it together. But there, like I say, there's some layouts in the back here for how to get that right height. And then you can swap in or replace any rocks that you want. Because you'll notice this is a little bit different from the cover, although the measurements end up being the same.
Right. Yeah, and everybody's is going to be different, right? Because everybody's going to cut at different angles and lay them out different.
Exactly, but since you're cutting everything back down to those standard sizes again, it makes the math really easy.
Exactly. And I saw that this quilt is kind of a small throw size. It ends up 56 by 56. And
yes.
What I was thinking is you could make it bigger if you just added sashing in between the rocks, right? Just like space out the rocks a little bit more.
Yep. You absolutely could add some sashing in here. And because all of the columns are the same width, if you want to expand this, there are instructions to make a large throw size.
Oh,
but
nice.
Just keep going. Yeah, just keep going.
Yep. Make a couple more rocks. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you thought about how you're going to quilt it yet?
I have. It's a little bit of a negotiation with the long armor.
I understand. Considering that I used to do the long arming, I completely understand.
You completely understand that, yeah. So the artistic vision sometimes has to be pared down to what long arming reality is.
Reined in, yeah.
Reined in a little bit. So that's where I'm at right now. But
I think it would be cool if you did, you know, there's like a meander kind of a pattern, but that looks like ripples on water. That could be cool.
Yeah. I promise I'll bring it back when it's long armed. How about that?
Nice.
Yes. So with that, I think I've got all my tips out. Like I say, this is a super well-written pattern, so I didn't have a whole lot to add. But the tip about on the super small ones, sew your background piece on first and then chop it off just like you would a regular snowball, or a traditional snowball, maybe I should say.
Yeah.
And then to use your offcuts to help you measure your background piece to make sure that you've got plenty to make up that corner.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And then my favorite kind of math is the math that somebody else does. So use the pattern to help you arrange it.
I have a feeling you're very good at math, actually.
I do love math. Yeah, I do. But sometimes of the day, it's not in the cards.
I mean, it's been a long day today. I know we already had this conversation before we got on. Yeah, so.
It is, yeah. So if any of our
and maybe a drink.
Indeed, right? If any of our friends in Minnesota are joining, we're part of the Shop Hop. So that has been really, the summers in Minnesota are so short. We just cram as much stuff into them as we possibly can. So we're week 2 in the Minnesota Shop Hop.
Cool. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we wrap up for today?
One of the things I want to be sure to mention is that Jen's Thread Talk on Kawandi is next week. So that's next. It is next week. That happened real fast.
I have lost all track of time.
Yep. So you do not want to miss this. Kwandi is it's, big stitching, hand stitching, bringing it back to the roots. That is just really making a comeback. So you don't want to miss this. It's all about Jen and I think how she found her love of Kwandi. It's going to be a really great talk to get you inspired. Maybe learn a little bit more about Kwandi if you've never heard about it.
Give me a second and I will get a QR code up.
Thank you. Okay, well then I'll keep vamping so that you could get that. We are in the last couple of weeks of the Club Gotham being on sale. Now it is a great, I hesitate to compare it to Amazon Prime because it's so much better than that. But you do get free shipping at a lower rate. I think it's $35. You get a discount on fabric, and stay tuned because we are working nearly around the clock, it feels, to get all of the products ported over to the Gotham site. So you'll have some fun things to look at and to fun things to buy. So Club Gotham, I think, is really going to come in handy. And what's even better is when you get your Club Gotham at the reduced price, that's what you renew at. So you're locked in at that rate.
Yep. So right now it's on sale for $75 a year. Normally it's $125 a year. And you get access to all the thread talks for free. So each thread talk is $35. So just like two of them is.
You're making your money. You're pretty close.
Right, but it's the same, right?
Yes. And we've got some great thread talks. We've got Meg Cox, not next month.
October, right?
In October.
Yep.
Yes. So a very special thank you if you found us because of Meg's newsletter. Hello and welcome, and thank you for finding us. And Patricia already signed up for Jen's talk, of course. So very excited to see all of that. So yeah, we're in the last couple of weeks of Club Gotham being at the reduced price.
Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, right? In the live.
We're going to talk about Club Gotham in the next live. So if you have any questions, bring them to next week's Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Tuesday live with Gotham Quilts. We'll have to come up with a because I am in the shop, so
yeah,
I keep on Tuesdays in the shop.
We originally called it Tuesdays in the shop, and then when we closed the physical store, and then we were never physically together ever again for this, it sounded silly to call it Tuesdays in the shop when like we're both at home streaming, right? So then we renamed it to Live with Gotham Quilts. But yeah, you could change it back. You could do whatever you want.
Well, we'll have to noodle on that. I don't know. Why mess with something that's good, right?
It's a whole different name. It could be, I don't know, like Gotham TV or something, you know?
Actually, that sounds kind of cool. We might have to call it Gotham TV.
Sometimes I come up with the best ideas off the top of my head, and then I can't remember what I said, after that.
Oh, goodness. Well, I really hope that you all will give improv quilting a try, and River Rocks is a great place, very approachable to start, and what a cool quilt, right?
It's pretty fast too, right? This is not a project you're going to spend months and months making. Yeah.
Nope, because it is a lot of rinse and repeat. Chop, sew, trim, you're good.
Yeah. I like it.
And some of these rocks are pretty big. Like if you look at, I certainly don't want to keep, but like one of your rocks is going to be this big. So that's a lot of real estate. That's a lot of quilt real estate.
Is that a 10-inch square?
It is something just short. I think 9.5.
9.5, yeah.
I'm going to cheat because now it's going to bother me, and I'm sure it's going to bother people too.
You have your cutting mat in front of you, don't you?
I do.
With measurements on it?
It's 9.5. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. When you held it up, I was like, "Oh,
that's been a long day." Yeah, pretty cool.
I believe you. Yeah. My default is always to go measure on the table because I was always next to a cutting mat, right? It's like, oh, just put it on the table. Put it on the table.
I guess clearly my default is whatever's in my hand at the moment, and it happened to be the pattern.
This was cut from the pattern, and let me look what the pattern says. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I would hate to miscut my sample block, and then, but in any event, yeah. So, and starch is going to be your friend on this one.
Yeah. anytime you're doing bias, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think we got through the housekeeping things.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, and I think this pattern is going to be fun for people. If anyone needs anything, you can always email us. It's info@gothamquilts.com. And we'll be back next week, right?
We'll see you next Tuesday. I keep wanting to say same bat time, same bat channel, but I hope we don't get a copyright.
Too. And Andrea was always like, "Where did you even get that from?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I picked that up somewhere."
It's from Batman.
Right, but like, I'm not old enough to watch that, you know.
I think it's just in the common lexicon now. Yeah. The same bat time.
Apparently. Yeah. I literally have no idea where I picked this up.
That's bananas. Well, in case you're not familiar with the Bat Time or the Bat Channel, it's 6:30 Eastern right here on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also catch us on the replay, same places.
Yes, we do like the replay, people. You don't have to be online at the same time as us.
Nope. No, but actually, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave us a comment to let us know that you like the replay too.
Yeah.
We'd like to know you're out there. Yeah. We do like comments. In any event, I think we're dragging out this long Minnesota goodbye. I think long enough. Thanks so much, Yvette, for joining me today and letting me talk all about River Rocks, one of my favorite improv patterns. And we'll see you all next week, Tuesday at 6:30.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.